All right, everyone. So we just got done watching Friday Night SmackDown. This was a pretty good one. Obviously, we're on the road to WrestleMania, so there's a lot of things happening and quickly. So we're going to go through some of the big parts of the show, give our thoughts and stuff like that. So we're going to start with the start of the show with Randy Orton coming out. Obviously, Nick Aldis is there and he's talking about the RKO he received. But now Randy Orton, we got to find a new opponent for him because Kevin Owens is injured, and it looks like that may end up being Solo Sikoa. Okay, Solo and Tonga come out, but it seems like they're really, focusing in on Randy Orton versus Solo. But the overarching part I loved about this is that it reminded me of the old Randy Orton, the one I've been talking about for months that I want to see back. I think that's the best version of him. Obviously, he was at his best when he was going up against Kevin Owens. He was really able to express that old version of Randy Orton, but now they're going to have to switch on the fly. So I like a lot of what they're doing here. And I especially like how they're showcasing Randy Orton. To me, that's the key, right? Is how are you portraying Randy? Is he, kind of his fun self that he's been over the past few months? Because obviously, he's not quite like he was in his prime. Now, what we're seeing is the best version of him come back, right? That's what we're getting now. Very excited about it. There is also a potential for Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis, but I don't think I read something about that today, and after watching SmackDown, I don't think that's what they're going to be doing. All right, so then we also had a big women's tag match announcement for WrestleMania. It appears, right? You're going to have Lyra and you're going to have Bailey against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. No problem with this. You're getting a lot of big names on the show. I definitely think this kind of, now you're not having to fill a Lyra match as well. You put them both together. I think they'll be able to put on a show. It is sad that they couldn't have gotten a better match for both of them, but the beauty of having this tag match is that we are pretty sure this is going to be pretty good, right? They're going to be able to put on a really good show. So I'm not too worried about it, but you would have liked to have seen Liv and Raquel get a much better rivalry. You would have rather seen kind of Bailey and Lyra get a better rivalry than this, where it's just kind of come to be. But I think it will be fine either way. I was excited about this next moment. So this was the Drew McIntyre Damian Priest segment. And this is a rivalry that on paper is very good, but they haven't been able to build it properly yet because it was kind of, we went all, you go back to Royal Rumble. That was supposed to be kind of the start of it. There was a gaff. I think it was LA Knight that screwed something up. Drew McIntyre wasn't happy. So he's upset with a lot of this. This was one of the first moments, though, that I really enjoyed what they were doing, and the fans were loving it. The fans, were chanting "Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!" All of that. So I think maybe we started something here, right? Maybe that right before WrestleMania, it was at the last minute, but maybe we're going to be able to really care about this match a lot, and I hope they deliver a good one because I think they both deserve it. It kind of sucks that this feud is not really, necessarily like one of the most talked about, but this has. I mean, Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest are two really big names in the company right now, so I think we saw a lot this week. Hopefully, that builds again next week. So Cody Rhodes also came out. Promo was good. It was just in there. He was basically calling out John Cena. He was laying out what was at stake, and I love this angle. Okay, one of my favorite angles that we're getting right now of this John Cena, Cody Rhodes, all of this is that Cena's trying to kind of destroy wrestling. Right, he's going to win the championship and run away with it. That's one of the things one of the narratives we're getting, and that's what Cena said, and I love that. So you have Cody. He has all these old title belts. He has the new title belt, and he's talking about protecting that. I thought that was awesome. But there was another interesting part of this, and it's crazy, but I think it is a good sign. You had the Let's Go Cena sucks chance. Now, why this is crazy in my mind is because Cena's gone out of his way to try not to have anybody be on his side. Meaning he could have kind of pitched himself as, okay, I'm mad at some people in the fan base, but I'm like the heel that I still, I'm a heel, but I want you guys to still kind of cheer for me. No, no, no. He went out of his way to call out even the people still cheering him after the heel turn. He went out of his way to do that. So I don't think he really wants this, but there's still, I mean, that's how good this is, right? He's doing such a good job of it. It's to the point where you're almost like, oh, we have to cheer for it, right? We absolutely have to cheer for it. So good segment for sure. Good promo by Cody Rhodes, but this was not, he's had better segments, and so has John Cena. But overall, it was fine, right? It did what it needed to do. Next thing we're gonna move on to is Tiffany and Charlotte. I gotta say, I'm just gonna put back on that conspiracy hat with this. All of the backstage updates and all the backstage stuff that we've heard about this, to me, it's making this rivalry so much better. So after Tiffany wins, okay, she beats Roxanne Perez. After that, Charlotte Flair comes out and just starts beating up Tiffany, and the fans are going crazy. Charlotte seems pretty crazy. It was perfect, right? The rivalry is heating up. The rivalry is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. This is exactly what you want. Okay, this is right now the number one storyline on the women's side. Like, this is number one. Okay, and I don't know if any of that. I don't know how true all the reporting we're getting is, or if it's kind of overdone or whatever, or if WWE is just kind of leaking this stuff out. But I'll tell you this: whatever they did, okay, whether it's real, not real, whatever, is working. Okay, people care far more about this feud than they would have just a few months ago. Um, I really have liked everything Charlotte Flair has done since she came back. Now, like I said, I don't know. I'm not someone that's in the business, right? So I don't. Maybe she was kind of stepping on Tiffany's toes and doing things she shouldn't have been doing and wasn't supposed to do. And obviously, I'm not for that aspect of it. But I think this rivalry really is getting to where it needs to go. I think it a really has legs to it, and the fans were into it. And this is a version of Charlotte Flair that's aggressive. This is a version of Charlotte Flair that's brutal. That's perfect for Tiffany, right? That's perfect for her to go up against. So I'm liking everything we're seeing right now from this. And I thought this was one of the best segments, and there wasn't even any promo on this. And I will say, as much as I love the promos, um, for this rivalry, we've gotten a lot of that, right? We've gotten a ton of them talking to each other. Almost everything has been that. More stuff like this probably will go a long way. You don't need to have the promo every single week. And I wonder if part of the reason they didn't have that promo this time around was because of the issues that they have had. So the main event was Solo and Tamatonga versus Randy Orton and LA Knight. It was typical, right? It was good. You had the big names in there. People got excited. But once again, Solo Sikoa, Randy Orton at the end of the match, they are fighting outside the ring. They go kind of back to the locker room area, fighting through the crowd. So that's showing you again, maybe they're building that rivalry. And I think that's a great idea. I think it's perfect for Solo, right? It's really perfect for Solo because to this point, it's not that Solo has, isn't a good character right now, but he's kind of in a weird situation, right? A really weird situation because the bloodline is no longer really a thing. Um, and Jacob Fatu is kind of really taking off on his own. So Solo needs to kind of a boost himself, and fighting Randy Orton at WrestleMania, I think there's a lot of legs on that. Now, you got to build a little bit of story and you have to do it quick, but WWE was dealt a bad hand. Kevin Owens getting injured when he gets injured kind of ties their hands on what they could do. I think this is a perfect substitute. But at the end, Jacob Fatu comes out, attacks LA Knight, and once again, he starts doing his moonsaults. And the crowd, this is one of the things that's so crazy. It doesn't matter if he's doing it to a baby face, a heel, who it is, the fans are going to cheer when Jacob Fatu just starts dismantling somebody in the ring. And so that extends now, that feud a little bit, and that one we're going to see at WrestleMania. So that's the SmackDown reaction. I don't think this was necessarily the best SmackDown we've ever seen, but it was a very good one, and it did enough for all these stories heading into WrestleMania. And you got to know, with a SmackDown like this is all because we've talked about this with pay-per-views too. It's like sometimes you have a SmackDown that's like, oh my god, it just delivered on everything. Other ones are kind of the setup things, right? They're setting up for a pay-per-view. They're setting up for a feud in the long run. And I think this SmackDown showed that. I am happy that they're going to 2 hours, sometime in the summer, I think, right? Late spring, early summer, because I think as much as I love watching, the 3 hour SmackDown, this had enough really great stuff in it. Had this been a 2 hour show, I think it would have been like this was an above average show because you didn't have to fill the 3 hours. You could have everything we just read basically in this. Maybe you add one or two things, but basically everything we read in here you could have put into 2 hours, right? Instead of the three. So I think 2 hour SmackDown is a perfect thing for them to go with. And I loved everything we saw here. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.